Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading on November 29, 2024, Friday. Hope everybody's doing well on this Black Friday. I don't know why they call it black. I think it's ridiculous. I don't know. I saw a video this morning about people in Lexington, Kentucky, like all bundled up because it's so cold here. It was like 31 degrees this morning. And they're waiting outside of a store for it to open. Like, I would never do that. I just would never do this. It's nothing is that important. But anyway, I have a question and answer here, and thank you, Clint, a subscriber, who sent me quite a lot of interesting information. I can't attest to the fact of knowing what it all means, but I did look up what citizen sense is, S-E-N-S-E, and we're going to talk about that. But before I do, please hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there, and welcome newcomers. We've got, maybe 50 or so newcomers. Welcome, welcome. And I'm going to give a shout out to one of our subscribers. I'm not going to say your name, but she took it upon herself to write to our sheriff and implore him about the crimes that are being performed against me and how he's not acting. He's not acting like a sheriff. No, he's not fighting the crime, and he's allowing harassment, community stalking in his jurisdiction, but he's allowing it. But anyway, I will post his information. His name is Sheriff Daniel Isaacs, Jackson County Sheriff, Main Street, McKee, Kentucky. I'll post the email address and the phone number. Anybody who wants to speak nicely to him, and just tell him that you implore him to deal with the crimes that are taking place here. Putting a dead animal in somebody's mailbox is a federal crime. And I'm going to read to you also what that is here. So I'll show you. And this is from the USPIS.gov website. And the article is on mailbox vandalism. It may seem like fun to vandalize a mailbox or drop a firecracker in a blue USPS collection box, but it's actually a criminal act that affects your neighbors and your community. Mail cannot be delivered to a damaged mailbox. And that's what happened to me. My mail could not be delivered to my mailbox, and the mail that was delivered the night prior, because we had a new carrier, was covered in blood. And mailboxes cost money to replace. Plus, the mail inside will be destroyed, and that could be important documents, necessary medicine, or priceless family treasures. Mailboxes are protected by federal law, and crimes against mailboxes and the mail inside are investigated by postal inspectors. Those who are convicted of destruction of federal property could spend up to 3 years in jail and fined up to $250,000. So if you know someone who committed an act of mailbox vandalism, report it to the police, to the postal inspectors. Okay, so we reported it to the police. And let's see what Sheriff Daniel Isaacs is going to do about it. And the fact that there was a turkey carcass dropped on my property again today tells you that these people don't care. They're entitled and they're protected by the sheriff. So Sheriff Daniel Isaacs, I ain't going to shut up. And pretty soon there's going to be a petition. And I'm really good with petitions. Ask the cat people in New Jersey how my cat petition went viral. I might even create a new Facebook page. Yeah, with all the photos of all the vandalism on my property, and implore you to investigate who is doing the damage. And if you can't do your job, step down. Let's get somebody new. But anyway, I purchased in August 4 pair of new socks. They're called Bomba. They're costly socks, and they're supposed to have a lifetime warranty, but unfortunately I purchased it on eBay rather directly from their website, so it's not covered under their policy. However, I'm going to show you what these criminals did to a brand new pair of socks. I mean, I bought 4 of them. I have other pair of socks. Maybe I wore them 4 or 5 times since August. And this is what they did to... This is not the heel. This is above the heel. Let me show you. Looks like a triangle. Does that look like a triangle to you? Looks a little bit like a triangle to me. You know those Freemason losers? They like damaging clothing. They're morons. So yeah, so this is another pair of socks. I mean, I can't tell you how many socks that I have gone through. I know because when you purchase socks either from Amazon or eBay, you have a history there from when you purchase. And I can go back in there and see how many times I purchased panties, how many times I purchased pants, how many times I purchased t-shirts. Everything has been damaged since I moved to Kentucky. And not that things weren't done to my clothing in New Jersey, but not to this level. Not to this level. In New Jersey, they would do little things to my clothes, but I could still wear them. Not these. Everything, all of this is getting thrown away. Okay? But this is very important, and thank you so much, Clint, for mentioning this. I've never heard of it before. What is, and tell me, guys, have you ever heard of citizen sense? I asked ChatGPT, right? I said, what is citizen sense? Is it an ideology, a movement, a community watch? What does it do? How are people selected to join? Citizen sense is not a singular ideology, movement, or formalized organization like a community watch group. Rather, it is typically associated with participatory, environmental monitoring, and community-driven sensing initiatives. Now, somebody out there, while I'm reading this, can somebody count how many times I use the word sense or sensing in this one article? Because this is what all of these infrastructure groups do. They repeat the same BS over and over and over again. And in fact, you can go to the Fusion Center website, you can go to Homeland Security, you can go to the Alabama Police Department. Every one of them, they've got the same bullshit. And for guard, it's all the same BS. In fact, I think somebody out there devises the narrative and they just cut and paste it into every one of their websites. So it leverages the involvement of everyday citizens to collect data, often through digital tools and sensors, there it is again, to address local environmental issues or concerns. Environmental. And that's actually what they're doing to my property. They're causing environmental damage, deliberate. So the key features of citizen sense, there it is again, participatory science. I have to tell you guys, there ain't anybody around here that probably ever got an A in science. Citizen sense projects involve the public monitoring and addressing environmental or public health challenges. It empowers communities to generate evidence and advocate for change. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'll tell you for a fact. Judge Gabbard altered the county creek. He also placed a corrugated tube underneath the county bridge with no rebar pointed towards my trees and my property, and then dumped tons of gravel, useless gravel, that has no useful purpose other than to damage my property and trespass. And yes, Jackson County, you have trespassed my property. Oh, don't get me started, because in the new year there'll be new stuff coming. The use of technology. Citizens often use low-cost, easy-to-access sensors, there it is again, apps, and other tools to gather data on air quality, water contamination, noise pollution, etc. Really? 3. Focus areas. Environmental justice, climate change, pollution monitoring, and health-related concerns are typical focus areas. I don't know. I've never seen one person out there photographing the skies the way I do. It often seeks to bring attention to underrepresented or marginalized communities affected by environmental issues. The ideology or mission. While it's not an ideology, citizen sense aligns with values of grassroots empowerment, transparency, accountability, and environmental stewardship. How it works. Projects may be initiated by universities, nonprofits, or local communities. Training and resources are provided to participants to effectively gather and interpret data. Participation is usually voluntary, open to anyone interested in making a difference in their community. Recruitment often happens through local networks, social media, and outreach by organizing bodies. So some of the examples of activities are monitoring air quality near industrial sites, collecting water samples to detect pollutants, mapping noise pollution in urban areas, creating reports or visualizations to present to local governments or advocacy groups, and in short, citizen sense is about enabling communities to use tools and data to monitor and advocate for solutions to environmental and social challenges. If you're interested in joining or starting a citizen sense initiative, it is usually simple as finding or creating a project in your area that aligns with your interests. So I asked ChatGPT, how is citizen sense used nefariously or by nosy or jealous neighbors or trespassing people? How can these violations be reported and to whom? While citizen sense initiatives are generally well-intentioned, aiming to address environmental public health issues, misuse by individuals with personal grievances or malicious intent can occur. For example, some people might exploit the tools and platforms to harass neighbors, intrude on privacy, and collect data without proper consent. Here's how such misuse might manifest and the steps to address it. 1. Invasion of privacy. Neighbors might use sensors or cameras to monitor others' private property under the guise of environmental concerns. Trespassing to install or use monitoring equipment. Number 2, false reporting. Filing misleading or exaggerated complaints about noise, pollution, or other violations, quote unquote, to target individuals. Number 3, harassment or retaliation. Weaponizing citizen sense data to shame or ostracize somebody in a community setting. Posting misleading or unauthorized data online to damage reputations. Trespassing and unauthorized access. Entering private property to collect data or install devices without permission. How do you address this misuse? Document the misconduct. Collect evidence of the misuse, such as photos, videos, or written logs detailing the behavior. Note the dates, times, and actions involved, as well as any potential harm that was caused. Know your local privacy and trespassing laws. Many areas have laws to protect individuals from unwanted surveillance, data collection, or physical trespassing. Research legal thresholds for acceptable monitoring, which is public versus private property boundaries, right? So it's sort of like these criminals think that because my property borders the county road, that if they harass me from the county road, that it's okay, but I'm on my property. They cannot interfere with my quiet enjoyment of my property by harassing me just because they're on the county road. And also, very often they're on the easement, which actually is my legal property. That's right. Just as a side. It's basically a loan, an agreement with the county to allow them to use my land or anybody else that has an easement. But it's still considered to be my property. Report to authorities, local law enforcement. For trespassing, harassment, physical breaches of privacy, file a complaint with your local police or sheriff's department. Well, I've done that numerous times and nothing happens. I've been doing it for 5.5 years. Code enforcement or municipal authorities. If the misuse involves false environmental claims to local government agencies, notify those agencies of the situation. Then there's the cyber crimes unit. If data is misused online, report to cyber crime units or platforms where the data is shared. Seek legal assistance. Consult a lawyer to understand your rights and options for filing civil claims, invasion of privacy, defamation, or harassment. Well, I've been doing that for years. Nothing has happened. Inform citizen sense organizers. Well, how do you know who they are? If the misuse occurs as part of an organized citizen sense initiative, report the individuals involved to the organizers or sponsors of the program. Many programs have codes of conduct. Not around here. Preventing and mitigating misuse. Clear boundaries. Post signs to deter trespassers and clearly define property lines. I've already done that. I've got a legal land survey. There are posts all over the place. And these criminals have actually torn my property posts down, my pink flags. They've torn them all down. Community dialogue. If safe and feasible, address concerns directly with neighbor or individuals involved to clarify intentions and boundaries. Public education. Advocate for citizen sense programs to include training on ethical behavior, consent, and respect for privacy. Technology countermeasures. Use jamming devices when it's legal, or shielding techniques to block unauthorized surveillance. You hear that? Report the violations to the police for trespassing, harassment, and stalking. Report violations to citizen sense networks for unethical behavior. Report violations to the regulators if unauthorized data collection violates local data protection or privacy laws. Report the relevant agencies like data protection authorities. Misusing citizen sense tools undermines their purpose and harms community trust. Taking swift and documented action is key to stopping such behavior. I ask, how do I find citizen sense organizers? Search online using terms like citizen sense project and then the name of your city and state, or community environmental monitoring for your city and state. University programs for environmental science or public health departments in local universities. They often run a collaborative with such projects. Nonprofit organizations focusing on environmental justice, climate change, or public health often sponsor or collaborate on citizen sense initiatives. There are global platforms and networks, citizen science associations. It's a network connecting citizens and researchers on participatory projects. You can go to citizenscience.org. Then there are environmental monitoring platforms like Air Visual, Air Quality Monitoring, Water Keeper Alliance, Water Quality Initiatives, and Zune Universe through broader projects involving environmental monitoring. Contact the local authorities, environmental agencies, contact municipal offices. Local governments might support monitoring projects related to pollution, conservation, or urban planning. Check social media and community boards like Facebook, Reddit, or Meetup. Use hashtags like citizen science, community sensing, or environmental monitoring to find the active groups in your area. Networking through environmental or advocacy groups like nonprofits like the Sierra Club, Greenpeace, and the Environmental Defense Fund. These organizations often collaborate with or know of citizen sense projects. Direct outreach to sensor or tool developers. They'll build around specific tool or technology, so you can contact the developers of popular sensing devices like low-cost air monitors and ask about connected programs. And I might very well do that because of what's being dumped on my property. One is called Purple Air, Plume Labs, and Smart Citizen Kits. Number 7, look for specific citizen science portals. Websites like scistarter.org list participatory projects, some of which focus on citizen sense initiatives. By leveraging these resources, you should be able to locate organizers or join an existing project in your area. If you don't find any near you, it's also possible to start your own citizen sense initiative with the help of online resources. Well, that's interesting, right? And that's pretty much what you do. If you can't beat them, create your own, right? Create your own group. So anyway, I hope you found this interesting, that citizen sense, one of the features is that they're projects involving the public in monitoring and addressing environmental or public health challenges. It empowers communities to generate evidence, right? Generate evidence through easy access sensors, apps, and other tools to gather data on air quality, water contamination, and noise pollution. So if you were aware of citizen sense, leave a comment down below. If this is new to you, leave a comment down below. And I'm going to sign off for now, and I'll talk to you later.